Coach's Call live session. I'm sorry about the change of time to this, but I had some health issues. And of course, we have competitions coming up on the weekends. So I apologize for that. Nonetheless, here we are. We didn't want to delay it any longer. So, one of the things I wanted to cover today, and I've got some videos, and they cover a wide range of things. But my letter, which was a little delayed this month because of my health issue, but it is out as of now, just has to do with athlete development. And in athlete development, it's a tedious job, especially when you're a grassroots coach and teacher, and you are working on the fundamental skills. So when we're working on our fundamental skills, and there's so many different moving parts in judo, that's why it takes years to learn. So we have to grab the gi correctly. We have to have our hands in the right places. We have to stand up straight. Our posture has to be right. Our position has to be right. When we enter a throw, our kazushi has to be done correctly, and it has to be done at the right time. And all those things are going on while we're fighting someone who's defending against us. And boy, that makes it difficult. It makes it difficult, especially when you're learning with the understanding that the actual judo movements are a challenge for people to learn too. So as we go forward, we have to take the time to teach the kids correctly. And I know that there's this great desire to let's teach the newest move or the coolest move. Our kids are watching judo on YouTube and seeing these spectacular moves with these katagurumas or these forward one leg uchimatas or these these huge pickups that you're seeing from the Georgian players, or all the different moves that take so much time, so many years to learn and develop. It all starts with the foundation of judo, where posture, position, space. When do you make the attack? How do you force your opponent to move? How do you force an action to get a reaction? All those things take years to learn. And in the beginning process, and this is what I wrote about this month, the beginning process, takes time, and it takes your time, because you're going to watch your athletes respond to somebody. And normally when you've taught them all these new these new techniques, these new fundamentals, that when someone pushes on you, you stand, hold your ground, and don't push back. You take their weight towards you when you throw them forward. And when someone's pulling back, you don't walk with them. You hold yourself and you step in and you throw them backwards. Now, all those things sound easy, but they're not. They're not, and it takes time to learn that. So you need to be watching your students, and you need to be correcting them when you can. I mean, there are some situations that students are not going to learn right away, so you don't have to continue uh, to break into a randori session to change or to correct someone. Let him go. Pick and choose your spots when you're trying to teach, and in doing so, let me get these open. I'm sorry, I don't have this chat open. Oh, hey Steve, how you doing? Won't be able to stay for a Okay, I teach a whole class. Okay, hey, it's Jimmy Martin's son. Can I email you with? Let me see what this is. Hey, it's Jimmy Martin's son. Can I email you with questions? If you want to email me with questions, you certainly can. When you say Jimmy Martin's son, which Jimmy Martin are you talking about? Just so I know. You absolutely can email me. My email address is steve@americanjudo.com. Gabriel, it's nice to meet you. If it's a Jimmy Martin that I knew very well, it's a great pleasure to meet you. I'd be happy to talk with you, and thanks for joining. So, Steve, you want to stay a whole talk today? I have to go? Okay. Man Mountain Martin. Gabriel, One of my best friends in the world was Jimmy Martin. So we'll get into that later. A phenomenal judo player too. But let's get a Man Mountain Martin. Oh God, I love him. All right. So Steve and everyone else. So when we're teaching, we need to watch closely what our students are doing and pick and choose our spots. So posture is so critical in judo. It's so critical in judo. Where your hands are placed on your opponent is so critical. So many times I watch people when they grab the lapel, their hand is in the center of their opponent's body rather than on their shoulder, but their clavicle, or it should be. You can't control your opponent from the center of his body. You need to have your arm out. When you're grabbing the sleeve, you want to be able to grab at the seam, and get a good strong grip. And when you pull for Kazushi, you're going to turn your wrist up and you're going to pull. When you go and do a foot sweep, you want to turn your foot and sweep with the bottom of your foot. And when you grab a leg with Osoto or Ouchi, you want to point your toe and reach out and grab the leg. All those things are learning processes that take time. And as I've spoke in the past, and I'll do it again, when we do drills and we play games, we want to play games that 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 enable kids to do judo fundamentals in their game. So whatever the game is you're doing, whether you're kicking a ball, sweeping a ball, whether you're hopping, whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way where you are using judo fundamentals, and that is something that kids will get better at judo without even knowing they're doing it, and it's important to do. And I'll point one thing out so you guys understand this, that years ago when I was younger in judo, the judo was played in a way that fundamentals were embedded in judo. Everyone stood up straight. Obviously, rules were different, mentality was different. There were no kokas or shidos or wazaris when you fall on your side. It was ippon judo. Our when we started out, our rules were set for ippon, so everybody learned how to throw. And in order to throw, you had to stand up and you had to step in. And an ippon was not just falling on your back. You had to throw someone with force on their back. So it's something that kids aren't around a lot. They don't get to see it and they don't get to feel it. And because of our crazy USA judo system, we don't have our best players fighting in America anymore. So you couldn't even go to a regional tournament and watch somebody play. One of our top players. Our top players don't go to those tournaments. They're fighting only internationally. So we don't even get a chance to see them. And so that's a problem. That's a real problem. So we have to do it ourselves. And it comes down to us. Because I'm telling you, if our students leave us from the beginning stages of judo, after 3 or 4 years to judo, teaching them judo at a high level is going to be so difficult, I can't begin to tell you. It takes years and years and years to break bad habits, years and years. So it's something that it falls upon us. Now, I'll grant you, when I say us, I consider myself a grassroots teacher. I was also the Olympic coach. And there was a time I had a training center in Chicago with my brother that we must have had 5 to 6 Olympians on the mat every night. And we were producing great athletes. But I've chosen to come and work at the grassroots level because I love that too. And it's also a place where there's no support given. You guys that go to judo every day, bring kids in the door and work with these kids, you get very little support. So that's why I've chosen to do this. So I hope you guys can get something out of it because I don't know where else you're going to get it. So again, take your time when you're teaching. Take your time to show your students when they are making a mistake. Show them what they're doing wrong. Try not to interrupt more than you have to. And I will, if you go and take a look at my newsletter this month, I talk about some drills that I do that will help you guys develop with your students as they're getting better. And the other thing I want to point out before I go to some videos and go into some different aspects of judo is when you teach someone how to do a technique and they're doing it on a crash pad and their form gets good and their uchikomi is good, that's stage one. Now they have to do it in randori. And then there's a transition to randori because now you're doing it against someone who's defending. Someone's pushing, someone's pulling, someone's taller, someone's smaller, someone's stronger. All the variables that come into play in randori in order to develop that. And when you develop it in randori, then there's a transition to competition. Because when you go into a competition, all of a sudden your emotion comes into play. You're nervous, you react differently, you fight differently. It's all different when you get into a competition. So I would tell you that it takes time, it takes years. Okay. So, one thing that we must be as grassroots coaches is patient. Be patient, and it's important to be patient. Uh, so I want to go over a few things and some videos that I prepared to you. I would tell you that the videos today are not on one topic only, and I apologize for that. Normally, I pick a topic and we stay with it, and I pick a technique and we stay with it. Uh, the the uh, the because of I didn't have the time and the way I had the health issues, I put together things that I thought I could uh, uh, cover a few different things. Okay, so one of the things that we want to teach our young kids is how to feel our opponent's reaction. So when we think of judo, we need to think of judo that it's a game. So I mean, when you're playing, when if you're playing football and you're a receiver, you want to force your the person who's covering you to make a commitment to one direction, so you go in the other direction. All sorts of games. If you're playing tennis, you want to make your opponent make a decision that he's gonna look to a return down the line, and then you hit it cross court. So you're watching and you're feeling that reaction. In judo, it's the same way. We want to force our opponent to react to us. And here's one. One is very clear, and one's a little more subtle that I'll go over with you. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite players. And if you've been with me, then you've seen it before. Uh, so here we have Dennis Viru. He just won a major competition. Uh, you're going to watch how he threatens forward. Dennis's forward throws are very, very strong, and he has a phenomenal taio too, and he does great, and he uses forward and backward. And in judo, you need to know how to do that. And this is an extreme version. Obviously, this is a Grand Slam tournament, and he's fighting a top player. But watch how he gets the guy to bite on his forward movement and throw him backwards. Here it is. Watch. Look how perfect that is. Boy, he makes that look easy. Turns forward. Look at the response from the player. Am I done here? Let's see if they show it again, because I'll go over it. Here it is. Look. So what I want to do, if I can, and you'll forgive me if can I move this? I can't. So I want you to see as he pulls. So as Dennis goes to enter the throw, look how far back his opponent is. He doesn't have to do that much. He doesn't have to do that much. His threat forward and him selling the forward move force that reaction. Okay. And we want to, as we teach kids judo, we want to teach them in our teachings that how to feel that, how to know, and we want to teach throws with the same entry in different directions. Whether it be Osoto and Sasai, Sanagi and Kouchi, Tayo and Ouchi, throws that look, in this case, Sode and Kouchi, whatever seems to fit your judo. And it works. It works so well when it's done correctly. So we'll watch this one more time. And he just turns forward and gets him. So this is like a thing of beauty. And I'm going to show you guys something quickly too. Let's get back to the start again. Dennis's posture, I mean, he is always straight up. Dennis came to our judo club for a week, and as he was playing, I brought all my kids and said, all I want you to do is watch his posture. Don't watch his tayo, don't watch his switch, don't watch watch his posture. Watch how he stands up straight. It's so necessary in judo. Posture is everything. You have to stand up. You have to be strong. And Dennis does it so good. It was just beautiful to watch. And again, when you're standing up straight, obviously your supporting feet are under you. So entering the throw is so easy. Remember, we need to keep our supporting feet under us. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Standing right over him. Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. I love that move. I love that move. I'm going to go to a little more of a subtle one. And this is an ouchigari, and it's an ouchigari to his knees. And I can't control the slow motion as well on this platform as I did it in the other. But I'll show you that when he moves into his forward technique and he pulls his opponent, he pulls him enough to get the reaction on his heels, and then the ouchi works. It's subtle, but you have to watch it. You understand, he wouldn't hit the ground that hard if he wasn't leaning back. Let's see if I could do this. Look at this point now. Look how far his hips are behind him. Look how far. He is defending. Now, the defense for ouchigari is you want to push into your opponent. As you can see right here, there's no push into the opponent. He is leaning back, expecting a Sayanagi. And sure enough, look how hard he goes down. So one of the things that I see when everyone teaches ouchigari, even the great players, they demonstrate it this way, but they don't mention the importance of when you bring your arms in to do the ouchi, you're forcing a reaction backwards. And that's what makes the ouchi work so good. And it's beautiful to watch. And it doesn't work otherwise. If this opponent's not leaning back, he's not getting them. He's not getting them. Let's watch again. Look at that. Again. What a hard fall. Boy, that's just beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, that's really good technique. And again, those techniques are developed through our basic fundamentals. You're not going to teach that technique. What you're going to teach your students is how to feel. how to feel their opponent, how to make their opponent respond. When you teach them that, at some point your student will go off to college and he'll train at a higher level and he'll see and he'll learn and he'll develop judo that fits his style. But all the basic fundamentals needed to do this will have been taught by you. So I want to be just so incredibly serious about the importance of what we do at the grassroots level. This doesn't happen. Now, if when you go to Europe or Japan and you see the amount of people they have on the mat and how many people are doing judo in the country, yeah, I mean, they've got a huge group of great players and they're surrounded by great judo all the time. We don't have that luxury here. Steve, if you're still with me, I mean, how many times do you have 30 people on the mat? 30 players. It's hard. It's hard to get people on the mat. Good players, good solid players. It's hard to do that. In Europe, they have camps almost every weekend. Going on the mat, there's 100 players. It's crazy. Never. It's hard, Steve. It's hard. So how we do this is so important. And Steve, before you leave, yeah, 4 to 6 adults. Yep. So I'm going to cover that in a second, Steve. Just out of curiosity, how much time do you have? Because I'll rush to show you something that I want you to see since you have to leave early. Let's see if I get a response from you. So it's difficult. It's really difficult. So we have to teach. We have to teach. So let 15 minutes. Okay, so let me rush here for Steve. And interesting, Steve. I have this for both men and women. But so what do we do in the United States? You know, judo's an individual sport. We have to train. We need bodies to train, but it's still an individual sport, and there's a lot we can do on our own and also with one partner. So I put some videos together and for people that are training. Now, obviously, I got videos from the best players in the world, and it's something that anyone could try to do, but I want to show you, and I'll talk over it as we look at it, what it looks like, you know, when a top player, and this is an Italian player, Fabio Bastillo, who's a marvelous judo player, and we'll just watch. Let's see how we're doing here. Here he is, just one-on-one, just doing his uchikomis. Now, these are short snippets we'll see of him training. This is just one-on-one drills. Well, you definitely need a good understanding uke when you're training, but you get that. So here we have just two people doing judo. And, you know, I want you to know that most of my training from the time I was 14 to 16, my hard training was just with my brother. We would train we would do randori for an hour 3 times a week, besides our other classes another 3 times a week. And we had bodies then too, but we still trained together, 3 times a week. And it wasn't so much fun for me when I was younger. My brother was old school. So here, this is just him. Now, again, this guy's best in the world. He's training. This is maybe a little Rocky-like, but here's a guy that is training to be the best in the world. This is when the uke gets his revenge. So here, I do a lot of speed drills with your feet. I want to bring this in here because, I mean, you need to move your feet fast in judo. It's important. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of it for agility too. Because when young kids, building up their agility, their balance, their strength, lateral jumps, acceleration, deceleration, All those things matter. So it's important. Now, here's one more. We'll just see it on a band, one on his own training. I mean, there's real resistance in that band. And now just getting up the rope. No legs, up and down. So we see that one person can do a lot on their own. Obviously, having a partner is important. In most cases, the partner you have doesn't have to be, a great judo player, just a good uke. That's all they have to be. Here he is running the steps. I mean, I did this when I was younger too. I mean, you got to get out there and train. You do it on your own. If you want to be great, it comes from within. It comes from within. So it's just the great players train hard. It's if you follow other sports, and you look at the greatest players of all, they're the hardest workers. I have a great Kobe Bryant story. I love listening to Kobe Bryant. A great story that he got criticized for not passing the ball, and after the game, he didn't seem to pass the ball a lot. And in the after interview, someone asked him, Kobe, why don't you pass the ball? I don't understand. You have these guys open. Why are you taking all the shots? He said, I'll tell you why. Because 2 hours before the game, I was here practicing. 2 hours before every game, I'm here practicing. No, no one else is here. The guy you're talking about comes to play and he leaves after the game. When the game's over, I'm still practicing. Why would I want to pass the ball to him? Now that may have sound egotistical, but I mean, certainly I'd rather have the ball in Kobe's hands anyway. Uh, so I mean, it. These guys are driven. They're driven. So let's see. How do I pause this here? Here. Well, sometimes this thing stops working for me. So let me get over here. Uh, Let me see if I can make this equal. Oh, this always does it to me. Okay, so I have a video of some women training, and hopefully that comes up. But the idea that when you have can't see video from stores, please try again to contact support for help. Thanks. Here we go. So this is Jessica Klimkate, world champion, a phenomenal player. And this is just a video of her training on her own. Obviously, she's at a training center somewhere. But you take a look at her, and she is working hard. So while we're watching her, there are, when I look at judo players, there are two different types of players. Now, all of them are at this really, really high level. Uh, but there are ones that are going to beat you with their superior technique, and there are others that are going to just wear you down. Okay, still not. And just for example, uh, the you look at someone like Jimmy Pedro and someone like Jason Morris. Jimmy Pedro was a beast on the mat, an absolute beast. Technically, he was phenomenal. Uh, but he would wear you down, standing and on the ground. He would wear you down. The longer the match went, the more it was in Jimmy's favor. For 4.5 years, every competition and every camp Jimmy went to, I was there. I watched him fight everyone. No one trained harder than him that I saw. Uh, when he fought, from the moment that match started, it was full pressure, full pressure. The longer the match went on, the more it went in his favor because he was always getting stronger, always getting stronger. You trained for that. You trained for that last 5 seconds of a match. You trained for that. Now, someone like Jason Morris, who trained equally as hard, but was a different style. So Jason was going to throw you. He wasn't going to beat you down. He was going to move. He was going to float, and he would find a way to throw you. And we have players that are on both sides. And one's not better than the other, and one doesn't train harder than the other, maybe train a little differently. But there's two types. And what I'm showing you, Jessica Klimkate, is a beast. She will beat you with she will outlast you. She will outfight you. She will out-tough you. And she will find a way to win. It's quite impressive. So that's why I'm showing you her. So let's watch some more of her, just doing her 3-man Chikomi here. I mean, this is like lifting weights. This is lifting judo weights because she's driving and pulling against that resistance. Look at the girl on the bottom being lifted up. Oh, I didn't get that, huh? Okay, little change of direction here. I would normally do a full session on this, but learning how to create space when you fight is important, and it's something that you have to learn how to do, and it has to be done immediately. You have to know how to create your space. So we fight a whole lot of different styles in judo, and obviously a Russian, Georgian, Eastern European style is going to be a little more of a mauling style judo than a Japanese judo. And here we have one against the other. And one of the things I want to show you, it's not the technique, which is fine, but it's the how can I can't do this. Let's see. So what I want you to be able to see, because I can't see it on this the way the screen is as blue reaches up and grabs deep on white's back. Watch how quickly white creates that space. He will not let his arm and his shoulder be pulled down. He needs that space to make the attack. Now, on the other side, blue needs to minimize that space to keep his opponent from attacking. So here is how quick, watch how quick. God, I wish I could move this here. Watch how quick he gets. You see how he gets out of that? So that's the only time it shows it. So let's watch again. I want you to watch again. I can't stop it and see it. watch how the space, how quickly he drops his shoulder, turns his body, and just makes that space so he can enter. If he doesn't do that, he's going to be locked in, and he does it immediately. And look at that. He created the space right away. That's by design. We have to feel that. We have to be able to create that space when we're in that position. There's a whole bunch of positions. Take a look at the end of the throw. Let's go over here. So let's watch where the throw starts when you don't see the space created. Look like he's got all that room to attack, and you don't see that part. You see, he's got all that room to attack. Well, it wasn't supposed to be that way because he was supposed to be locked in. Here we go again. Watch. Look at the space. Look at that. Now he comes in. Creating space is an important skill to learn how to do. Okay. And maybe it's a higher level of learning how to play judo, but it's an important part. And space, understanding space relative where you are to your opponent is critical in playing judo. It's critical in playing judo. So it's something we have to learn how to do. And I'll go into that in much greater detail, space, at one point. I will. Where is, oh, here. So I wanted to show this because when we're playing judo, there are so many different styles. We have to develop our judo to have an answer for different styles. We need techniques that are an answer to different styles. So when you're playing right on right, what's your answer? Right on left, what's your answer? How do we get out of it? How do we find an opening? What techniques do we do? And this is just a really nice right on right fight where the opponent doesn't realize that the person doing the technique has an opposite side foot sweep, and it comes out of nowhere, and he's shocked because he wasn't expecting it. And that's the kind of judo you need. You need to be able to do judo from all different angles and different situations. So that's why I did this. I really like the way this works out here. Watch how it's right on right, and now he's breaking it up, and look, the foot sweep comes. Unexpected. He's turning right. So as you can see, we're fighting right on right, not expecting. Let's see if I could do this here. So look how he subtly lets this righty come across his left foot. So what we have is white is fighting against blue's Osoto, his Harai, his Uchimata, his Seyanagi, all right side, not thinking about his right foot being vulnerable to any kind of ashiwaza. And that's what makes this so good, is that you could see it's right on right, right on right. And here it comes. Sweep. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love ashiwaza, as you guys know, but it's such an incredible weapon. Such an incredible weapon. When I tell my kids to use their feet all the time, all the time. When you're gripping, when you're moving, use your feet. Anytime you can off balance your opponent, it gives you an opportunity to gain an advantage. So we want to use our feet all the time, all the time. So let me just show you one more that I really liked. Let me get over here. And this is just a double foot sweep. Again, using your feet in a way. We're right on right, and just watch how he's going to step and get his opponent moving and catch that foot moving. Watch. One, two. Just catch that foot moving. 1, 2. So we're going to watch it again slowly, and he's going to step with his left foot right next to his opponent's right foot. Then he's going to step forward with his right foot, and as his opponent steps back and moves his right foot again, he's ready to take him down right away. One, two. Look at that. Again. 1, 2. Soon as he lifts that foot up, he's ready to take him down. You develop moves like that by using your feet all the time. You develop it. I did a move similar to that, a little more extreme, when I was younger, and it was very, very effective for me. Very effective. And people, it's interesting that when you play judo, in the game of judo, when someone has good ashiwaza, it makes you play differently. You're concerned about the way you move. You're concerned about the direction you're going. All of a sudden, your opponent's not only thinking about stopping your judo, they're thinking about not moving. And it gives you such a great advantage. So I'm a huge proponent. Ashiwaza, ashiwaza. Use your feet. Make your opponent uncomfortable with your feet. Be able to score with your feet. Ashiwaza. And it's something that takes years to learn. So you young teachers and coaches, I don't mean that you're young, but for young kids, have them use their feet all the time. They should be sweeping every day. Always get used to using your feet. Learn how to sweep from the hip. It's so critical to judo. It makes your opponent uncomfortable, and obviously you win matches with it. But it also adds to your judo so much, so much. So every day they should be sweeping around the mat. Get used to the movement. Get used to it. You can do sweeping drills where you go across the mat. But during randori, use your feet. Use your feet doing randori. Always. Always. No one's ever standing still. Use your feet. Ochi, koshi, achibarai. Use your feet all the time. Okay, we need to do that. It changes. It affects the way your opponent plays you. I tell my kids all the time, when you're playing judo and you're threatening, it's a different game than when you're not threatening. It's like any other sport. Okay, when you become a threat, people play you differently. And that opens up a world to you. And then we're playing the game. And we saw again with Dennis, and I'll show this one more time to make my point. We saw with Dennis, look, he's a threat. Look how that works when you're a threat. Look how easy that goes. Look how much he has to defend when that happens. So when you're teaching, remember, this takes years to learn. Years to learn. So we don't have to worry about getting it down day one, day two, month one, month two, year one, year two. Continue to teach. It's a feel. It's a feel, and you have to develop that feel. And again, you do that. You do drills. You do drills against with their opponents. And I'm going to talk about those drills. I'll do one session just on drills. I'm happy to do that. But you do drills to get this and to feel your opponent. Okay? As I said, judo's a game unlike any other game. You play it to force your opponent to respond and take advantage of that response. So you learn the fundamentals, you learn the techniques, then you learn how to play the game. All those have got to be taught. More so today than ever in the United States, because we don't have the numbers anymore. We don't have the numbers. And it's what I'm going to try to do for you. And for all of you that have joined, and I'm glad we got a good, looks like there's a number here. If this time works better for you than on Sundays, let me know, and I'm happy to change my time because I do want more people on here. But the in your teaching in your club, feel free to email me at steve@americanjudo.com if you have a question, if there's a problem with an athlete you're trying to resolve. Okay, use me as a resource. I promise you, you're not going to come across something that I haven't seen in my 50 plus years of coaching. So, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, send me an email if you need anything. Just want to say hi. I'm happy to share the videos with you if you want to take a look at another video. And thanks again for joining and understanding with the time change. Again, please, if you guys like the time change and it's easier for you, I'm happy to adjust my schedule so we could do it when more people could join us. Thanks for coming, and I hope you guys have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Thanks for coming. Signing off.